girlfriend. Wow, these retards are something else. I told you guys I had no patience. Listen, when you come up here and say, hey, I can mispronounce words because I have autism, and then you think you're not going to get picked on, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I'm going to pick on you for that shit. You don't get to fucking hide behind your fucking autism. I don't even believe you have it. I think you probably made that up as a fucking excuse of why you're so stupid. That's... I know people with autism. I know people with autism that are smart. Shit, Io's got fucking autism and he's the smartest guy in the app. So, what's your... Alright, if he wants to come back up and tell us about the Mac bar, he's more than welcome to come talk about the... We can carry on. Hey, yo! We need to do a GoFundMe for people. Let's do the Motherfucker Shut the Fuck Up and Someone Else's Talking Challenge, where he asks you a question and let them answer it without interrupting them. You don't have fans here, brother. You have sycophants who are your dick lickers. Anyone objective will look at you like a bitch. You know that, right?
You know, Truth, since you said that you have a reputation for being, respectful?
Yeah, now when someone calls me a fucking retard, Steve, where's your line, Steve? Where you standing, brother? You call autistic people retards, Steve? Steve, do you think that being autistic your whole life might make you sensitive to having someone throw your disability in your face as a fucking joke, and then once it backfires, try to say you don't even have it?
Thank you.
This is what the fucking internet does to people, folks. They act like they're not human beings. They talk in ways that they could not in person. You could not do this in a room full of people who know you, work with you, shop with you, or are friends of your family members. You have a fucking reputation you would want to protect. You wouldn't want to be known as a degenerate on the internet until shits and giggles because you're 30 going on 50, still acting like you're 16. Prove the fuck up.
Well,
yeah, I mispronounced the word, not in my native language. You want to fucking laugh for another 10 minutes because you have nothing going on today? Yeah. You fucking dork? Yes, I do.
Actually, if I may.
Loser! We're discussing Israel-Palestine. He's making fun of a mispronounced word from...
If I could,
Dick washer, bro. You're a dick washer.
Thank you. If I could continue, I've been here for... Thank you. I've been here for 20 minutes. I've kept my mouth shut. I was trying to do a little bit to defend you, Truth, but now you have convinced me not to. For someone...
You said you have a good reputation. You didn't say, hey, Truth.
I didn't say anything. I have been spoken for the past 20 minutes.
Autistic people should be called fucking retards, Truth, and I'm sorry that happened to you. Steve, go fuck yourself. I don't need you. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You know what?
You actually think I sit here and go, oh no, I lost Steve. Oh guys, did you hear I lost Steve? Guys, did you hear it? I lost him. Oh no, the guy who couldn't stand up for 1 second.
I don't believe you.
Out of pocket.
I think you are a liar.
But you can't even stand up to Israel, so why would you stand up to Moshe? You're not going to stand up for what's good. You're not going to go, hey, that's wrong. You're going to try to tell me I fucked up or try to be my friend. Go fuck yourself, respectfully.
I was only speaking for about 15 seconds and you interrupted me 3 times.
You watched me get slapped in the face and then start talking to me instead of the person who slapped me. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
I was trying to give you a little bit of props, but you have convinced me.
Buddy, I don't need your props. I need you to address the person who just disrespected someone for being autistic and then didn't even apologize.
Okay, A, I don't believe you're autistic. B, I don't believe...
I've been on the app 5 years.
And you've interrupted me 5 times right now.
Read my entire bio. Just
how could anybody believe that you have a reputation
talking. Is this?
I don't know what to tell you. I just moved you to the audience because I'm sick and tired of you interrupting me. Not once, not twice, not three, not four times, but 5 fucking times. So now I'm going to take just a very little bit of time and finish what I wanted to say. Where I originally came up to support autistic people because I have a mod squad that regularly comes onto my regularly scheduled show on Saturday and Sunday morning, and 25 to 33% of my mod squad are autistic. So I would say I have a better than average experience and knowledge of autistic people. If indeed you are autistic, you certainly don't act like it. If indeed you are respectful, you certainly don't act like it. And last but not least, I have no desire whatsoever to defend anything about you whatsoever, because I have not said anything bad about you, about autistic people, about anybody. You interrupted me 5 times. You're rude, you're nasty, and quite frankly, I think you deserve everything that you've gotten in this room.
Steve, I'm not sure, maybe you came a little late, but Truth is being disrespected from the jump, as was I. We get, called names.
You both are fucking retarded.
Right. Crazy stuff. So,
Bima, and now I know I'm interrupting you, but Bima, you've known me for a year or two. You just heard Truth say a bunch of things about me. Question, Bima, has anything that Truth just said about me within the past 2 minutes true?
Oh, I wasn't paying. I apologize. I wasn't paying that.
Oh, okay, all right.
I was more focused. I was trying to get in there and let you know. Maybe you came a little late, but he had already been, attacked and instigated. He was making great points. No, it wasn't by you. It wasn't by you. You're right. It wasn't by you.
However, in the past 2 minutes, he laid into me. Totally right.
Yeah, that may have been a fumble.
Okay, well, would you attribute that to autism, or just? And again, everybody, if you're insulted by 4-letter words, turn your volume down for 30 seconds. Is that just because he's a nasty, rude, mean son of a bitch? If not, why did he lay into me? What did I do to deserve that?
Well, I think he let you know.
Hold on. I'll go see if I can explain this. The reason he lit into you is because he's fucking.
He was trying to explain it to you, Steve. He was frustrated with you addressing him before addressing the disrespect that was given to him. He wants to have a good conversation. He came up on stage. He's a great interlocutor. I love him. Free Truth. And I think we should get a start.
Well, considering
I've invited him back up. He's not accepting me, but I've invited the guy up. Listen. I do not discriminate. I will call people out for being retarded, but retards are welcome on the stage. Beamer's still here. We can bring Truth back up. Look, some of my best friends on this app are fucking retarded.
And again, I admit it, after interrupting me 5 times, I'm the one that dropped him to the audience. And I think any other mod that was interrupted 5 times in a row would drop him to the audience. So I don't think.
Please invite him up. I want to hear him talk about the knack.
Yeah, because I don't think I was disrespectful to him. I don't think I was rude to him. Oh, and here he is. Okay, Truth, go ahead. Talk more about me.
Or the knack bar.
Yeah, you can talk about the knack bar, or you can talk about what a negative son of a bitch, whatever you want to say negatively about me. Go ahead.
Look, I'll say this respectfully. Maybe I jumped the gun, Steve. I'm not willing to say I did, but I'm also willing to say I don't know for sure. It seemed as if you were about to browbeat me and do the kind of what's the term? Not pandering, freaking not
Well,
condescension.
considering you interrupted me 5 fucking times, you'll never know what I was about to do.
What is I'm trying to remember the term.
Considering, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I heard.
Okay, you heard what I said.
Oh, so now you're good. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I can't remember the term, but it's essentially a combination of pandering and condescension, where you just, like I said, watched me get slapped, and instead of going, "Hey, Mojo, just for the record, I don't think he deserved that, or I don't think that's appropriate," which, by the way, many people in the chat were doing, right? So it's not like I'm just even like, this is something people recognized and saw as wrong. You say you were going to sympathize with me, but instead of first correcting the person that gives you a reason to sympathize with me, you went straight to sympathizing with me. That's called enablement of abuse. But that's fine. I get it. It's the internet. We act antisocial here. Why the fuck would we be normal and act like we have compassion? Let's try to make up for getting bullied in school, right? Like, it's weird here. I swear to God, it's so fucking weird. Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, I mispronounced Nakba and then got interrupted for 10 minutes in midstream of thought. Because that's how adults have conversations, right, guys? Yeah, okay. So, but whoa, why did you crash out just because when you brought up your autism, someone said you're retarded? Whoa, that means you crashed out? Like, the audacity. These are the same folks, mind you, anyone listening, these are the same folks who cuss at people who cut them off in traffic. But they have no empathy for me getting frustrated with being disrespected. That's how you know their fucking amygdala is triggered and the prefrontal cortex is no longer operational. There's no empathy or reasoning coming my way. So I won't expect it any further.
Your autism is kicking in again. Your autism's kicking in again. Your autism's kicking.
Yeah, it's never going away, buddy. And I actually like it. Anyway, so to my point, I was in the Palestinians are ethnically tied to the Levant region. It's essentially comes from ancient Canaanites. There's been a lot of migration and activity in the region, but that is like the ancient ethnic origin, and the Palestinians are modern day Canaanites. That's been proven genetically. In fact, Palestinians have more genetic legacy to the region than the modern day Israelis. That's also been proven and documented. But I know people who are descendants of colonizers don't care about indigenous.
By the way, Truth, it's a great name, great nickname you have. When are you going to start speaking it? And by the way,
Cool.
you just regurgitated.
One of my favorite speakers.
Truth. I'm not going to look. I'm not going to do this with you. You're not going to do. No, hang on. Don't tell me how to talk to you.
Don't tell you how to show basic respect.
It's not going to happen. No, you're not going to. No, you're not going to do this to me.
This is the internet.
You might do it to other. You
realize context.
You drop context.
Keep it.
Yeah, okay. Truth, you done now. I mean, look.
No, I'm waiting for you to be an adult and make an argument instead of an insult.
Okay. You were absolutely incorrect when it comes to the understanding that you have about the Nakba.
Please enlighten me.
It does mean catastrophe. The word was adopted in the period closest to about 1948. The meaning of it is catastrophe. What it referred to, okay, take your pen and paper out, is
oh my God,
loss.
You need to get
to. Okay, I know.
You're so fucking on it.
No, hang on. Because I just want to correct you. It means the catastrophe was to the loss of the Jews. 5 Arab countries committed a war, a genocide, committed to a genocidal war against Israel. Okay? And the catastrophe was that they fucking lost. That's what the Nakba was. That's what it was originally named. And then was changed in the 60s, right, to suit a narrative about the displacement.
So can I
don't know if you understand that for a start. The history that you try and present is garbage. You're stating things as facts, where historically they are completely inaccurate, genetically inaccurate as well, statistically inaccurate as well. It sounds like you're basically being regurgitating propaganda that is completely off
the rails. These people are Palestinian people. They didn't even identify as Palestinians back in the early 20th century. Did you know that? They didn't even still don't know that. There was no such place called. There was no state. There was no kingdom. There was no country. Nothing. There was no culture that was called Palestinian.
Bro, then can I ask you a question about that? If that was true, do you know who the father of Zionism is? I mean, like, I know it was a concept for.
Yes.
Do you know who that is? Herzl. Hold on, I just have a question. I just got a question, bro.
What's wrong?
You know who Herzl is? Yeah. You know who Herzl is? Okay. I have a question for you.
Thanks. Okay, maybe a conversation with Beamer. Beamer, before I even answer that question, what is Zionism?
It is the belief that the people, that the Jewish people should have a nation state.
Not exactly.
Yeah, that is what it is. It is a Jewish state.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I'm telling you what it is. It's a movement of Jews to be able to return to their indigenous, native, and ancestral homeland, and be able to self-determine within that land, which is Israel. So you were close. Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to call you out now on 2 points. I'm going to tell you why it's bullshit on 2 points. Have you ever read Herzl's A Jewish State? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Now we're getting some.
Okay. So, on what authority, right, do you have on this topic? First of all,
hold on. What authority do you have on the topic? We're having a conversation. All right. So now that I'm asking you questions, you don't want to answer questions. No. I have the same authority as any other person.
When you are running a room, when you're moderating a room, I would respect the fuck out of your decision to be able to talk over me. I'm expecting you to be able to do the same thing, okay? And there are reasons why I'm choosing to be able to try and pinpoint this conversation in a direction which maybe you feel uncomfortable about. For a start, are you Jewish?
Ro, do you understand?
Yes or no?
No, I'm not going to commit you. This is a logical fallacy. These are circumstantial. Bro, if the statements that I'm saying, if there's a truth value, you assess the truth value. Are you saying that only? Hold on.
No, you're not gonna fucking.
Wow, so dishonest, bro. You're fucking dishonest. Dishonest motherfucker. Wow. Bro, so this is what it is. So now once you start losing, now. I see you, Ro. Wow. Don't even want to have the discussion. Logical fallacies up the end. That's disappointing, bro.
Logical fallacy.
It is. Very simple and straightforward.
What a coward, bro. Dude.
Speakers, please. Acting like
We can have that conversation.
You're not a fucking big man, bro. Just chill. It's Clubhouse, you dork.
All right. Let's restore order to the room. You guys can bring truth back up. Fine. I'd move you. I would move you. Now that it's sunk in that you're genuinely retarded, I will not pick on you anymore. I have sympathy now for you because now I believe you are retarded. So I will not pick on you. So I just want to reset the room. I do think it's interesting that you have the non-Jews lecturing to the Jews what Zionism is. It's a very interesting room that we have here now. But Bima, and everyone stay on mute. We can refute it later. Bima, go ahead and make your point. Tell us everything that you know about Herzl. Tell us everything that you know about Zionism. We'll give her as much time as she wants, but then after she's done speaking, then we'll allow the Zionists in the room to respond, and we'll see what she got right, and we'll see what she got wrong.
So, just some points of dishonest discourse. I want to have a truthful discussion, right? Clearly, there's agendas in the room, and people get, I guess, I don't know, ego gets tapped at, and then they want to shutdown conversation. Just when I was asked earlier, hey, was there a war before October 7th? Was there a war October 6th? And I answered, well, it's respective who you're talking to, right? If you want to say Israel says no, still Hamas would say, and Palestinians, Gaza, whomever, they would say that there was, right? Oh, I'm being dishonest. I had two people. Somebody else, JB, said, oh, you're being intellectually dishonest. Okay, well, why don't you just Google some Jewish-born, Israeli-born historians, okay, who will answer in the same exact way. You are not going to find, okay, a fucking true historian that's going to say that October 7th there was no war and that it happened, it just happened because of what. No, there's fucking plenty of historians. Yeah, you can roll your eyes because you're getting fucking demolished. You're getting fucking demolished.
Hold on. Ryan, do not interrupt. We said that we're going to give uninterrupted time for Bima. Now, Bima, you're all over the map. What you were going to do is you were going to explain everything that you knew about Herzl, everything that you knew about Zionism, and then we were going to get a response from the Jewish people to explain to you if you were right or wrong. People don't want that opportunity for you, people. I'm telling the stage to not interrupt you, but apparently people don't want that. I'm getting the thumbs down for giving you the mic and telling people, do not interrupt this woman. This woman is going to tell you, you Jewish people, you need to listen to this. Bima is going to educate you on what Zionism is.
All I was going to say was that I understand that returning to the homeland wasn't, it didn't come up by Herzl, right? But he wrote one of the foundational texts in the 1800s, it was called A Jewish State. That was the pamphlet, right? And in the pamphlet, it wasn't the Jewish state. He was talking about developing a company, and it wasn't Palestine, which, by the way, for everybody who says, oh, they weren't a nation, they weren't a people, well, that's crazy because Herzl in 1890-something was very clear to refer to Palestine as Palestine. Okay, so that's hilarious. Whoopsie. So very specific, okay, in identifying that. But it was between two. It was between Argentina and Gaza. And they were, yeah, let's get we'll take what we can get. So it wasn't Zionism in what I understood. If you're going to go from this foundation, like, okay, return, we can argue, I can see the point if you're going to say whether it's return to the homeland or just a nation state, which, like I said, one of the foundational texts that Herzl talks about is a Jewish state pamphlet. It wasn't necessarily going to be Palestine. It was going to be any nation state that the Jewish people could go to, okay? Now, I would like to hear what you guys think about Herzl. I'm open to it. And yeah, let me know. Tell me where I'm.
All right, hold on. I'm going to call upon, blink your mic if your name is Ro, El Normo, or Harry, and you want to respond to this. Blink your mic, either Ro, El Normo, or Harry. El Normo.
So, Jews have long returned home to Israel and have done so for more than 2,000 anti-Semitism. His big contribution wasn't that he thought, well, can we go to Uganda or Argentina? I don't know. His big contribution was understanding the possibility and the necessity of forming a modern nation state, which became Israel. All right, questions, Bina?
So my question is, when you read, so first of all, what do you think of Herzl as an authority connected to Zionism? Do you subscribe to him? Do you not subscribe to him? Do you think most Jews subscribe to him? Do you think most Zionists subscribe?
Try to unmute. There are 17 million Jews. He's one voice. 17 million.
So would you say he's an authoritative figure, though, when it comes to the topic of Zionism?
One small contribution to make, which I thought I wrote down for you, the idea of making it like a European foundation, which was repeated eventually on every continent of the world. See, we were coming out of the age of empires. So there was the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It got broken up. There was the Ottoman Empire. It got broken up. There was the British Empire, broken up. French Empire, Belgian Empire, broken up. What replaced it? Homeland for the indigenous people. Who was indigenous to Israel. Among many others, Jews, also Samaritans, Assyrians, Yazidis, Muslims. Israel's founding document, unlike Hamas's, which says they're going to kill every Jew on the planet, they never repudiated that. Israel's founding document, its Declaration of Independence, you should read it, guarantees equal rights for all minorities, unlike any state in the region. It's also parliamentary democracy, European style, unlike any state in the region. So he made an important contribution. He's one voice among. They called him Moses.
Right, exactly. I was just gonna say that. Like, are we the
Moses?
right? Would you agree that?
Wait, well, you asked me twice, I gave you the answer. Who calls him Moses? Hello?
Alright, so I'll go pull up article.
Who calls him? Wait, you said they call him Moses. No, we don't call him Moses.
No, I said they.
Who's they?
Basically, they consider him I'll pull it up for you. They
Why
consider
don't you just
him.
answer? You made a statement. Who are you talking about?
Yeah, Herzl is considered one of the fathers. One of the fathers.
I find Jewish publications and leading him to
I only asked you a question. If you don't know, say I don't know. And don't say
It's not important.
Oh, this fair guy off the top of my head.
So why did you say it?
It's not important yet. Herzl is one of the fathers of Zionism.
He made an important contribution. Yeah, it was really a response to the crisis affair. There are many Zionists and many kinds of Zionism, but we all have one thing in common. We understand a returning home, and that a home in Israel, being in our indigenous homeland, is central to our identity as human beings, as a family, as a tribe, as a nation, as a people.
I found those quotes if you want.
Yeah, but what about what I just said?
So I was wondering what you asked me to find.
Yeah. Oh, so you got lost? You can't do that.
Yes, my rhetoric has a hard time listening to someone else. I can't find a source.
Sorry to hear.
You wanted me to find people calling him Moses.
Wait a minute. Why is it that I'm a bad guy when I call you a retard, but when you call yourself a retard, it's okay? I don't like this double standard. I don't like this double standard.
Clearly know the answer to that question.
Yes, I do. It's you're literally retarded. That's all.
Also, if you have a nickname for your friend, I can call them that nickname. Or like if you call your other friend a silly insult, but it's an inside joke, I can just hop in on that inside joke, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not explaining how society works to fucking grown men. To the point, right? To the point. You asked who called him Moses.
Yeah, you said they.
Yeah, the reason I said they is because it was like a
rhetorical thing. You have to understand this man, you're downplaying.
So what's the answer to the question? You're not listening to what I'm saying. What's the answer?
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna make you a sweater that put a big V for victim on it. You're such a victim of monster.
It's okay, Julie. Oh my God.
Everyone mute up. Listen. We're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna keep it calm. Everyone's just gonna relax. We're gonna keep all of our disabilities in check. We're just gonna make sure that we're having this conversation. And we're just gonna. There's two rules. Try to make 1, maybe 2 points. Keep your share brief. Then mute up and then let somebody respond. I don't want where this is gonna get out of hand is if people talk over each other. So I want to just go ahead and turn the mic over to Truth, a self-identified retard, and I want to hand the mic to him and allow him to speak. So I will no longer call Truth the retard. I will just refer to him the way that he chooses to identify himself. So
Yes, so for the record, self-effacing humor is common. If I call myself a big jackass, that doesn't mean you can start calling me a big jackass. So yeah, just to why he's more than just one Jew amongst millions. He's the founder of the World Zionist Organization.
He started an organization. Who calls him Moses?
He was the first president.
He started an organization.
a lot more important than that. Hold on, guys, listen. This is going to be the order. Truth is going to speak, and he's going to make 1 or 2 points, and then Norm is going to respond, and then we'll pass the mic around. But go ahead, Truth, speak, and then Norm, let him uninterrupted get it off his chest, and then you will speak uninterrupted. Go.
Thank you. Yeah. So in doing so, he met with the Ottoman Sultan, the Sultan himself. He met with the British government. Originally, they floated Uganda as a temporary solution. He met with the German Kaiser and Russian officials, and he legitimized the Zionist.
Who called him Moses? Nobody. You want to withdraw that? No, I'm not holding on. You made a big point that you wanted to really get there. So go get the star was there and then go on. Start there. Who called him Moses? Thank you. Who called him Moses? Nobody? Okay, you withdraw the statement. All right, now what do you want to talk about? Yeah, you withdraw the statement, right?
Oh, wait. Okay. So there is a publication known as the Mosaic Magazine. It's a Jewish publication, and
Never heard of it.
cool. So you don't want every Jewish magazine, though? Is that?
No, and you clearly don't know anything about Jewish, period.
You sell water. You sell liquid in your diaper.
No. You know what?
You sit in piss
You
and shit.
have an unhealthy obsession with men's ass.
You have an piss fit.
You have an unhealthy obsession with men's asses. You need to work on that. Now make your point. Well, look at an ass. You're doing the biggest ass thing.
Are you familiar with the mitzvah?
Just go. Just make the point. You're tiring this out with your nonsense. Go.
Okay, so my main point is just to say this, right? Because this is what I really want to say earlier and I didn't get to finish. The locals in the region, the Palestinians, were displaced. Someone asked me, oh, well, where did we get the term Palestine from and how long did we call that, etc. I can't speak to
Some left in some state. Is that more accurate?
I'm sorry.
Some left in some state. Is that more accurate?
Some left in some state, they were displaced.
No, they weren't displaced. Some left and some state. That happens in war. No different than the 7 million refugees who left the Syrian war. They started a war in 1948, and some left and some stayed. And many they were told to leave. They weren't displaced. Nobody displaced them. That's more accurate. Next point. It's 100% true. What's your next point?
Okay,
What's your next point?
so this is important because one of us is correct. I'm not even correct. I can be, please. I'm willing to say I could be incorrect, although obviously I'm convinced I'm not.
Okay, you don't know this.
I think
You haven't read the history.
this moment definitive because
Some leftists
There's 2 million Arabs in Israel. Obviously, they stay. Correct. So it is different from the United States of America. Say again. Are the Native Americans still in the United States of America? Irrelevant. Oh, okay, so you have the comprehension to catch why that's relevant. No, I haven't more comprehension.
Hold on, we're doing the talking. No, hold on. We're doing the talking over again. We're gonna take turns. If you guys need me to do it, I will literally say, okay, Norm, it's your turn to speak. Okay, Norm, you're done speaking. Truth, it's your turn to speak. I don't want to have to do that. Can you guys regulate this?
Yes, I will respond. So there are 2 million Arabs living in Israel, fully integrated to every aspect of society, from shops to the Supreme Court to the Knesset. They have their own party. The Israeli laws do not discriminate in any way at all among different kinds of Israelis. Some Arabs say they have full rights, some Arabs don't. Next question.
Then expand
Choose your inaccurate. You should be untruth.
I swear to God, if I had a
until you hit that mile.
I'd have a lot of things.
You have a nickel. What's your next?
We'd all be rich and we'd all be hanging out in Israel and the whole situation would be cleared up and we'd be
I mean, you can take me out in Israel anytime you want, but the thing is, they probably go right now.
yeah, exactly. If I go on a flotilla hundra, I give any type of, if I want to rub elbows with people that happen to be on the other side of the border. I never said Hamas. Don't be dishonest, Hari. Don't be dishonest, Hari. That's hard. That is a very argumentation, Harry.
I think the civilians there are peaceful people.
I think that the civilians there who haven't harmed peaceful people, who haven't harmed Israelis, are peaceful people. Yes, I do.
So what about the same ones that held hostages in their houses, that spit on the bodies of people being brought over from Israel into Gaza? What about those? Are those okay too? Because they didn't harm anybody. They just spit on them.
Well, I mean, if they're like I said, are they harming people? Are they harming people?
So you'd be okay if I brought a dead woman's body?
No. I was giving you that. I don't think that should have happened at all. I don't think that should have happened. I don't condone that behavior at all. I also don't condone it. Do you think that they would accept you? Do you think that you would be able to walk into Gaza as an American woman and nothing would happen? You would make it a block.
That's a lie. So here's what.
Wait, not a lie. I was just there. It's not a lie. I don't care. I don't care either. Well, I literally find it on a map. The difference between you and I, Truth, is that you couldn't find Israel on the map. If I asked you, I couldn't find Israel on the map. That's correct. You couldn't find Israel on the map. That's correct. You couldn't find Israel on the map. It's true. It's absolutely true. Literally, you don't want me to test you right now. You don't want to. I mean, it's hard to reflect to you. A half-wit? At best, maybe quarter. Okay, but do I have what's your next question? Because last I checked, that's not one of them. I'm not interested in ethnic origin. Oh, so you can't look at my face, so you don't even know what I look like. So you're. Why would I want to know what? This is an audio app, you half-wit. I have a picture of me and my uncle in my PC. How am I supposed to know that that's you or your uncle? I guess it's just these random Ethiopian motherfuckers, huh? I don't care. Well, what relevance does that have to the conversation, Truth? What relevance does that have? You know, what's your last question? What's your last question? Ethiopians, what did they do? What's your last question? I just made a point. What do the Ethiopians are? We brought them there. We risked our lives. We're the only people who risked their deal. This is how you know he's a provocateur. You asked, I'm going to ask you. This is how you know he's a provocateur. Hold on, guys. No. You guys are doing the thing again. Take turns speaking. Literally, just take turns speaking. This means that when the other person is speaking, if one person is speaking, the other person should remain muted. This is not complicated stuff. I will tell you. Well, Israelis are the only people in human history who brought Africans out of Africa to freedom. The only ones, and risked our lives to do it.
Name another. You want to know why you can't? It just didn't happen because I checked my facts, unlike you. And what's your next point? We're the only people in human history that lifted Africans out of Africa to freedom. Only one, and risked our lives to do it. Now, what's your next point?
Norm, let's bet $1,000 on this.
Just make your next point.
You said no.
Just make your next point unless you have other information.
Can I do it? Your last point.
Who else did it? Who else did it, T-Monkey? Who else did it? Make your point. No, make your next point. I already crushed you. Make your next
So
point.
you said no one has accepted African refugees but Israel.
No, I said we're the only people in human history who lifted Africans out of Africa to freedom rather than slavery. That's what I said.
So wait.
And risked our lives to do it.
You're trying to cover
Like,
your
risked our lives to do it. Okay.
He's trying to cover his ass.
I'm finished with him. He doesn't have
He's trying to cover it.
I said, it's done.
He's trying to cover his ass. Look at him.
I don't need to. I just asked him. What other country did it?
Why are you running?
What other country did it?
You said the Ethiopian.
What other country did it? None. Goodbye.
You said the Ethiopian.
We're done.
I came to Israel.
We're done.
No.
Okay, now
You said the Ethiopian.
he's too stupid for this
Look at him
conversation.
flying.
Hold on, guys.
Hold on.
Hold on. Let's a little bit of mediation here. So, is there a reason why you're not responding to it, Norm?
Well, because he keeps muting me.
No, well, hold on. Let me just say this. If you guys can't handle the mod badge
I'm not being allowed to apply.
I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to the mods, all of the mods. Do not mute this guy. If Norm's asking him a question, we want the guy to be able to reply. So, Norm, go ahead and ask your question again, and we'll get Drew to reply. And if he doesn't reply, then
Well, no, I don't think.
Hang on a minute.
He actually said it was
respectfully, let him ask his question. Norm, ask it.
You can have all the time you need. What other country in human history airlifted black folks out of Africa to freedom besides Israel?
Okay, so just before I answer the question, and do not interrupt me, please, thank you, because you're controlling narrative and it's propaganda. So the first thing you said was Israel took in Ethiopians that were slaves. They weren't slaves. That's just fucking weird.
I never said
It's
that.
almost as if
I never said that.
I never said that. Please let me finish. The next thing you said is that they did them a favor. This is important. Anyone here, if you're bored, just Google Israel.
Never said we made them a favor. You're answering a question right now.
Americans did. They did like
Okay. Mojo, I don't have to. Hang on a second.
Hang on a second. Let me finish.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Real quick. Norm,
I have a question.
Yeah, hold on. Real quick. We're going to make this very simple. Norm, without any extra stank being put on it, just simply ask the question, then mute yourself, and then I will call upon True to answer the question. Go.
Thank you, and I'm sorry I have to do this. What other country in human history airlifted black folks out of Africa to freedom rather than slavery, risking our lives to do it?
Yeah, Canada, United Kingdom, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, New Zealand, because we're talking about black refugees being resettled, right? So, anyway, like I was saying, resettling African refugees is not unique to Israel. But you know what is unique to Israel? Making the women infertile. Do you know what I'm referencing, Norm, or do I have to educate you?
That's also a map on it. When was there an airlift of black folks out of Africa by
Who pays attention to what Norm is trying to ignore?
I'm challenging your first statement, then we'll challenge your second line. When did the U.S. Canada airlift black folks out of Africa to freedom? Please tell us when and where, because I can tell you when Israel did it. Go ahead.
Oh my fucking god. Alright, so let's go look up United States takes in African refugees. This is
Not
fucking
takes in.
not what Israel did, right?
It happened multiple times.
That's not what happened.
Well, now you're debating something.
Okay, so educate me. I'll be honest.
When does the United States do it?
Please provide a source. Nor please provide a source.
Operation Moses and Operation Solomon.
I cannot wait for this source, Mark.
Operation Moses and Operation Solomon. You remember you said about this stuff. When did the U.S. do it?
No, please. You said Israel did it. Please tell us about it and get us.
Sure. You wanted to learn about Operation Moses? Okay, hang on. Are you embarrassed to not know this stuff? Claiming to be whatever it is you claim to be? Hang on, I'm unlocking my thing here. So, Operation Moses was the covert evacuation of Ethiopian Jews from Sudan during the civil war that caused the famine in 1984. Originally called Gur Avia Yehuda by Israelis, the United Jewish Appeal changed the name to Operation Moses. Date, November 21st, 1984 through January 5th, 1985. By the way, it was done by the Mossad. Unprecedented undertaking, a three-way collaboration between the Mossad, the CIA, and Sudanese state security to smuggle 8,000 Beta Israel out of Ethiopia, where they faced hardship, persecution, famine, and death, and a massive airlift to Israel. There's much more. That's just one. I guess you never heard of it.
No, I've heard of this. To be fair, I didn't actually know they were airlifted outside. Just let them. Well, take that out. I'll take that out. I didn't know they were airlifted out. I'll take that. The reason why I
did that, by the way.
Respectfully, I took that out. But how were those refugees treated once they arrived?
Integrated into society like
Nothing happened. Nothing controversial whatsoever.
Well, there was 12 charges and 35 people received Depo-Provera, which is a birth control injection, when they were in refugee camps because rape was widespread, but it was debunked. Next question.
I'm going to look into the debunking of it. I'm going to look into
Sure.
the debunking.
Let's move on. Do you have any other points?
Go fast.
Yeah, you'll find it. Yeah. What's your next question?
I'll find it.
Yeah, it was debunked. What's your next question?
I'm looking into that.
Okay. Well, let's move. Can we move on, Mojo? We just don't know anything about. Like I said, you couldn't find Israel on a map. Nor could you find this so-called Palestine. Nor could you even name a city.
Hey, I got a question for True. Hold on, I got a question for True. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm just reading about this one.
Yeah, so I just real quick, when people chant from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, what river are they referring to?
He's gotta Google it real quick. Bloody hell. I didn't expect this. Bloody hell. You couldn't find it on a map. It's tragic. And by the way, do you know
Another tab. They said it was reading.
Okay, what's the river?
Jordan and Mediterranean, bro. Get out of here.
So you had to Google. Listen, hold on. Everyone mute themselves. This is the test that you should give to people in real time. When they start talking about Israel, you should just simply ask them, when they say the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, just simply ask them what river, what sea, and what you get is you get what Drew just did, where he pauses. It's even better. Hold on. It's even better when you do it face to face, where they don't get an opportunity
discussing.
Oh, you're right. So you didn't know, did you? Just admit it. We were just talking about this. Just admit it. Yeah, just admit it.
Bro, you guys test motherfuckers' patience. I just put the link in
You don't have anything.
Where is the debunking for them sterilizing Ethiopian women?
You're gonna have to find it.
You said no. You said it never happened. I didn't find
You got any other? Mojo, why are we doing this?
Do it afterwards. Debunking your lie.
Hold on.
Nora there.
I'm just asking to have a little patience. The guy self-identified as a retard, so we have to be a little patient.
Jesus, God, give me patience. Anyway, like I said, you made a claim that the Ethiopian Beta Israelites being airlifted, and to my credit, to your credit, I admitted that I actually didn't know they were airlifted. I just always assumed it was a caravan or some shit. Now I know why you emphasize the fuck out of the word airlift. But regardless, I didn't know about the plan though. I did not know about the airlift, but regardless of that, the main contention was that when they got there, they were sterilized. Now, you told me that was debunked. I took it on face value because I just took the L on the airlift, so I said, hey, look, maybe I'm wrong. I go and look it up. I can't find a single fucking source debunking it, but I'm finding a bunch of sources verifying it. So if you would do me one last favor, and I'm sure if you, I don't know, maybe you want people thinking that Israel sterilized black people just because they're black?
No, you're a fucking lying anti-Semite. I don't want anybody to think like you. The article is in the chat halfway. I'm sorry, you're not halfway, you're a quarter of it. The article is in the chat. Who's next?
This is a joke, though.
Who's
you
next?
have a third party.
Who's next? No more. Mojo, he's too stupid.
Do you have a third party news publication?
They're immense. You've been debunked.
This guy gave me Russian to talk about Russia.
Hey, guys, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to move on. It's clear that, look, this whole room, the title of the room is Bima Lectures to Jews about Zionism. I think this room's been kind of a letdown because I haven't heard anything that was educational. I'm looking for somebody, whether it's the self-identified retard or Bima who rejects the term, to continue to educate the Jews on the stage and in the room about Zionism. And honestly, I find it fascinating how much information you experts have on this topic. It's absolutely amazing, especially considering when asked what river, what sea.
No evidence the Ethiopian women were forced to take birth control. That's in the chat. That's just one of many publications to debunk your lies, which are pathetic.
Okay, so find one that's third party. Find me one that's not based in Tel Aviv.
What's the third party?
Okay, Mojo, read it first.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. How about this?
Yeah.
We're gonna kind of gently move past this topic. I'm gonna go ahead and just ask a question, and it has nothing to do with Israel. It has nothing to do with Palestine. I want to shift gears a little bit and see where the room is at, because this other topic, people kind of shift gears. There's a lot of intellectual inconsistency here. I want to ask about the conflict that's happening between Russia, Ukraine. What do you guys think happened there? Anybody want to take a poke at what happened there? Because this is one that fascinates me, because I see people, like, when I look at these two conflicts, for me personally, I see Russia invaded Ukraine, ergo Russia bad, retaliatory force good, ergo Ukraine doing what they need to do. If you go into the Israel conflict with Hamas as a terrorist group, they attacked Israel's civilians, women and children. They still have hostages to this day. Ergo, Hamas committed the act of aggression, and the retaliatory force, the righteous retaliatory force, is being used by the IDF. And I see these things pretty black and white. But I
extension thereof. And I'd like to talk about that thing. Norm, why do you think there are people in the U.S. and in the West that can look at those two situations and end up on the wrong side of either of those? And specifically, I want to start transitioning this conversation into Russia, Ukraine. But is there a reason why you think people in the West have a problem calling out naked?
People have a weird obsession, as we've just seen, based on moronic inability to think. They have weird obsessions about Jews. It's been around for thousands of years, all these myths and lies. Oh, you killed Jesus. Oh, you killed God. Oh, you used Christian babies' blood to make matzah. Oh, not that you risked your life to save your Ethiopian brother. Oh, you gave them birth control. Oh, it's one bunch of bullshit after another. Just endless bullshit. By the way, only people in human history that lifted black folks out of Africa to freedom rather than slavery. Did Truth ever say thank you? He took an L. He didn't say thank you, or he didn't say I was wrong. No. So why? Because people have a weird sick obsession. And by the way, I figured out why they have this obsession, Mojo. Especially folks who have been oppressed and suffered slavery themselves, like us. It's because they see the redemption in our narrative. That once we were slaves and now we're free. That song is written about the Jews who were enslaved in Egypt. It's a gospel song that black folks sing in this country, America. Once we were slaves and now we're free. Once we were blind, now I can see. They make a mistake in their brain thinking that the story must be about them. It's not enough that this beautiful story, our Torah, applies to them as it applies to every human being. Yes, your suffering has meaning, but something clicks in some people's minds, like people in this room, and they think that they have to be us. And so they hate themselves, and they take that self-hate and focus on us and say, you're not the real thing, we're the real thing. Even though it's just an absurd contention. It's like a personality disorder. Then they'll tell you what you think and feel in order to avoid admitting what their own low self-esteem and sense of worthlessness. That was a bit of a psychological lecture. I should publish that.
I see. Okay. Anybody else on this stage want to tell me when they look at the Russia-Ukraine conflict, who they see as the aggressor? Anybody want to answer that? Bima, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on who the aggressor is with Russia and Ukraine.
Always the state. It's always the state. Russia wouldn't be able to do what it was able to do without the violent back force of the state. They're not a bunch of Russians that are so pissed off that a few Ukrainians wanted to live the way that they wanted to live, declare independence however many years ago. They didn't give a shit. They're just following orders like the sheep that they are to do what government and daddy says. And that's the collectivist disease. It's always the government. These aren't people warring back and forth. This isn't a civil war.
So you would agree that you would agree that it's the tyrants, Putin, that invaded Ukraine. You'd agree with that?
I'd say, of course, but more so, right? Putin didn't go by himself. He wasn't through belief. People, a fucking superstition. Bunch of people believe that he has some authority and they're just going to follow and do what he says. So they're going to go and harm innocent people and violate other people who are just trying to live. This is what it is. Always the government. Always the government.
Kind of sounds like what Hamas did to Israel.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, you agree on that? Interesting.
No,
you agreed
absolutely.
15 minutes ago.
No, You just didn't listen, Harry. More Harry argumentation. I'll tell you what. Who Hamas should have
Should be an
fought?
official term, Harry argumentation.
Harry, yeah, I like it too. I like it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't like it for the reasons why you like it, but I find Harry to be very.
Harry.
He's got a common sense approach to these things. Like, you know, like if somebody commits an act of terrorism, he calls them terrorists. And if somebody kills a terrorist, he says, yeah, that was probably the right thing to do. I think Harry argumentation is rooted in common sense.
No, what should have happened, Harry, is as soon as people, whoever they might be, IDF, whoever, whatever entity began building a wall, they should have, Palestinians should have fucking took them out, slaughtered them right there as soon as they started to put them in and tell them that they couldn't live free as free people and travel peacefully. Take them off. Take them right there. And I would have been right fucking there. I also would have been right fucking there with that day on October 7th when these Hamas, these terrorists came in and decided to harm innocent people. Those innocent people were the people who created these blockades, who are starving, who are sending the war, who are sending the rockets, and who are destroying the infrastructure. No, it's the individuals. And the Palestinians should have taken every motherfucker out. That peaceful protest that happened before October 7th for 8 months, bullshit. Every single IDF, I don't give a shit, that stood there, that blockaded them, tell them they couldn't get food, take them out. As soon as they said, oh, I'm going to put a gun to your head, I have inherent moral authority over you. I'm going to tell you when you can move and what you can do and how you can get aid. Other people, take them out. I'll tell you what, the flotillas as well. The flotillas coming, peaceful people coming to aid other peaceful people in exchange. IDF, those people should be taken the fuck out. The IDF, take them the fuck out, right? You don't interfere with peaceful people.
You keep repeating yourself, but everything you said is actually wrong. If you actually know the history about what was going on over there for the past 60 years, you would realize why there was a wall put up in the first place. I don't know if you've ever heard about the first Intifada or the second Intifada, but that was pretty much the primary reason that why there was a fucking wall up in the first place. Second of all, the people in Gaza had the right to freely go into Israel and work into Israel, make money inside of Israel. And who do you think was supplying Gaza with electricity, water? Who do you think was supplying? You think it was their own infrastructure?
As soon as you tell somebody that...
No, of course it matters. Of course it matters. You didn't let me finish.
Sure, go ahead,
So the first Intifada and the second Intifada, people were Palestinians who are... Hamas are Palestinians, by the way. I don't know who you think Hamas are. They're just some random people in Gaza. They're Palestinians. That's who they are, first of all. They would go inside of Israel. They would kill people, family, little kids. This is way before October. This is years and years ago. They would go on to, you can look this up. There was a story of a Palestinian terrorist. You can call him Hamas, you can call him Palestinian terror, whatever you want to call him. Went onto a bus, a city bus that was taking kids to school and blew up the fucking bus as a suicide bomber and killed the innocent kids. And this was just one instance out of many. That was during the first Intifada, the second Intifada, which was the reason why the Israeli government decided, hey, we need to put a wall up, we need to make sure this is regulated. People can't just keep coming inside and out of Israel without being checked to see if they have any bombs on them, weapons on them to come and commit terrorist attacks. So it's not just like, let's just put up a wall just to put up a wall. There's a reasoning for it, right? So maybe if you actually understand the reasoning behind these, you would realize why that happened. It's not just because we wanted to put up a wall for fun, okay?
Right, yeah, that's what I hear. But my issue is, what year was the wall put up, you know?
I don't know. I can go look that up. I have no idea exactly what it was because it wasn't just a 1 year thing. It was over time they did that. So
the security wall was a response to the Intifada, like you said, Harry.
That's right. See, El Normo knows. He knows.
Wait,
so like 2007,
right?
El Normo.
I didn't even know what the Intifada was.
Hold on. I know how fuck. Listen, that's hilarious. We could. Do you understand? You could just keep going back though. You go with the second Intifada, the first Intifada, and then what happened before that? Then the Lebanon War, and then what happened before that? The Yom Kippur War, all around the city. We could go back. Yeah.
The Yom Kippur wasn't against Palestinians, by the way.
But what happened before that?
Wait, why did you start with one topic at a time? It's like ADP over here.
Yeah, but this is what I'm talking. Then you just keep going back. You had the Lebanon insurgency. Then before that, you had the war, 6-day war. Before that, you had the.
One at a time, people. One at a time. Okay. You mentioned.
Can I finish just talking to Harry real quick?
But you're just rambling around. Like, take one point at a time. Yom Kippur War in 1973 was a sneak attack on the holiest Jewish day of the year in an attempt to wipe out Israel. What point are you making about it?
Why did that happen? Why did that happen?
Because they told us why. They wanted to wipe out Israel. They said it.
Who attacked who, specifically?
Syria and Egypt attacked Israel.
Syria and Egypt attacked Israel.
And I think, yeah, the Yom Kippur War is famous.
I mean, I learned the war.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, so listen. And by the way, they had way more tanks than we did, and they almost achieved it. We fought it out in the Golan Heights, which is why when we took the Golan Heights and beat them, freaking miracle, by the way. I remember two airplanes. Of course, I was very young when I was in college. Not kidding about that. 2 airplanes full of guys left my college, which was Brandeis, to go to Israel to help out. 2 airplanes full. I remember it well. Yom Kippur, 1973. Syria attacked with all of these tanks. They outnumbered us like 10 to 1. And these incredible, brave Israeli tank commanders outmaneuvered them and crushed them. We could have taken Damascus at that time, by the way. We could have taken Cairo as well. That's how good we are. So, yeah, they attacked us and tried to wipe us out. You didn't know this, Bama?
Well, what relevance? That has no relevance to do with Palestinians. Like, she just bringing stuff up that's honestly really irrelevant to what the conversation was about.
Of course it does. Of course it does, because it's all, you don't think that it's all connected? You don't think that how okay.
How is it connected if it's sovereign nations attacking Israel?
Why? Okay, you could answer your own question. Why was it that they attacked Israel specifically?
Because they don't want it to exist.
They said it. They said it in words. They want to wipe us out.
If you were to read a historical, you can read it to an Israeli.
Bima. One word. Genocide was their reason. Genocide. They said it in so many words. They want to wipe us out. That's genocide. Now, what are you going to? You want to excuse that? I thought you liked it. I thought you didn't like it when they attacked peaceful people.
So you're saying, Nora?
Yeah.
That giggle.
Tried to commit.
Hold on. Can I say what that giggle represented? That giggle represented El Normo. That's a really good point, and I don't know what to say. Bima.
No, to be honest, it's slightly disingenuous because yes, and I hear let me meet you in the middle before I make you think I'm an enemy. So we're innocent Jewish people being attacked, settlers, etc. Yes, but
settlers? There were no settlers.
Hold on, that's what I'm saying. From the perspective of the Arabs, they just watched people get displaced and lose their land.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They were expanding. They were expansionists. They wanted to conquer a sovereign nation and wipe out all the people in a genocide. They did it.
Yeah, they were very hateful. It's disgusting. I of course that's true.
There was no settlers.
Well,
you still don't know the map. You know where areas? You know where the Golan Heights are? Well, why don't you take your little map now and look at it?
That's not northern Israel.
Look at it on a map. So where were the settlers?
That's Lebanon right there. But wait,
where were the settlers? You really don't know what you're talking about. You literally.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying there were no settlers.
These people don't understand that
direct region. I'm not talking about.
You've never seen a map. You never took 2 seconds to look at a map.
I literally know the. Okay, anyway, I'm not talking about.
You literally know what? What do you literally know?
The specific states in the area. The formation of the Middle East. It's not the.
I don't think you do.
That's very basic.
I don't think. Okay. Yeah. Let me show how wrong you are.
Disrespectful. I just wish you Like, it's weird.
Well, no, this is the way I am. You have to get used to it.
I know.
This is the way I order eggs in the morning.
I'll give you that. That's true.
This is the way I order eggs in the morning.
I
was just as nasty to the white supremacists the other day
I believe I've seen you with your friends, and they literally tell you, they complain just like I do. So.
Well, they're welcome to complain. But you know what? I hate to say this.
At least it's not personal. Right?
The girls love it, by the way. I don't know why, but they do. They're drawn to like nasty guys like me. Anyway, so when is Judea and Samaria, which Jordanian colonists called the West Bank, which is ridiculous. There's no Jordan has no business being there. When Judea and Samaria were occupied, right? Who did we occupy it from, if you know? Truth. And when?
You said I actually don't know. Sorry.
Jordan.
Do you need to know any more?
Wow, I'm shocked. He said that he didn't know something.
You don't know the region. You don't understand the geography. You haven't seen a map. Jordan attacked Israel in 1967. Up until then, they maintained domination of our holiest site, which is called the Kotel, the wall of the western wall of the temple. And when they attacked in 1967, Israel begged them not to attack. They did anyway because they didn't want to lose faith among the other Arab nations. It was Egypt to the west, it was Syria to the north, and it was Jordan to the east. Jordan attacked, and they lost.
And it's interesting to note that while Jordan quote unquote occupied Judea and Samaria, they also destroyed like almost 60 Jewish chunks. They looted and completely desecrated holy grounds to the territory. And when Israel took over after the war in 67, right, when they took it back in 67, they allowed the Waqf to maintain control of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. They didn't destroy anything.
That's correct. The Waqf, W-A-Q-F. That's right. That's the religious authority.
Yeah.
You know, you probably didn't know this either, Truth. Did you know that these so-called Palestinians had Jordanian passports? I don't know what makes them Palestinian. They had Jordanian passports. So I
just triple checked. I knew I was right. So Israel had begun settling in those territories in the Sinai Peninsula.
What territories?
In the Sinai Peninsula. And
we were talking about Syria.
No, I'm talking about back when we were talking about the young.
You said Sinai Peninsula. There were no settlers for them to attack. There were no settlers in the Golan. We're talking about Syria.
The Golan Heights that's Syria. That's right next.
That's north. You said Sinai
Peninsula up there.
Hold on, so if I'm not mistaken,
Israeli farms.
The 6-day war happens. They capture that territory. To be fair, hey, they took in a war. They attacked them. But to be fair, they also attacked because that was when they first came and took the land in the first place. So that was a response.
Who took what land?
From my understanding, the WZO negotiated with the Ottomans and the British to secure.
Dude, who took what land? What are you talking about?
The Zionists purchased what we would consider Israel, modern-day Israel.
What do you mean?
And they displaced 700,000.
Israel was created on May 14th, 1948.
I guess I never heard of the UN partition plan either.
That's what I'm describing right now. No, it was a purchase agreement before. You don't even trust me. It was happening by 1920. No, people think Israel was 1940. It was like 19. Norm, you know, it was like 1920.
Don't try to get me on your side.
Well, no, I
don't know what you're talking about. You literally.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Everyone, hold on.
You know I'm.
Oh no, everyone holding on includes people that self-identify as retards. So I just want to ask this question. Truth. When you think about the conflict between Israel and Hamas and this idea of Palestinians or this imaginary place of Palestine, would you consider yourself, like, scale from 1 to 10, 10 being a fucking expert on the history of this conflict, and then 1 being you know nothing at all? Where would you rank rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 on your knowledge of it?
I'll give 2 scales. 1 a personal scale, 2 a public scale. Because like most people probably are like literally functioning as like a 0. And compared to them, they would think like a 6, but by my own standard, like a 4.
Yeah, you're 4. Okay, got it. So I would just say this, right? Mm-hmm. Considering you didn't know what river, I would. I'm going to be kind to you. I'm going to be kind to you. Listen, I'm going to be. Hold up. I'm going to be very kind to you, and I'm going to say that your estimation of a 4 is an overestimation. I'm not going to say if I think you're a 1. Hold on. I'm not going to say you're a 1. I'm not going to say you're a 2. I'm not going to say you're a 3. Hold on. Listen, I'm talking. Listen, I get it. Self-identified retards.
You said 1948. I said the 1920. The Balfour.
Is there a reason why you don't understand that I was the one speaking? You're trying to interrupt me. I'm not going to let you do that. I don't let self-identified retards have an excuse to interrupt me. You can just stay silent.
I just have to reply.
You will absolutely get a chance to reply. I like it when self-identified retards reply to what I have to say. It's amusing to me. So let me just finish. You said that this is your score, that you're about a 4 expert on this conflict. I'm going to say that based on what I've heard today, considering you don't know what river it was, that you were probably less than a 4. And I'm not even going to score it 1, 2, or 3. I'm just going to let your imagination, decide where I might rank you on the scale. What I would also like to ask is a question, and you will get to reply, but just a quick question. Norm, when you think of this conflict, the history of Israel, Hamas, and these claims made by the imaginary group of people called Palestinians, would you consider yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 knowing nothing, 10 knowing everything? Where would you rank yourself, Norm? Excellent. I would say that is probably an underestimation because I think you have a very good understanding of this stuff. And by the way, when who the hell am I to decide this stuff? Listen, I observe stuff. I read everything. When I talk to people that are genuine historians about this stuff, it seems like while there are definitely opinions that may vary, when it comes to the facts, I think Norm is very strong with the facts, and I think truth. What I would encourage you to do, and I promise you're going to get to reply, what I would encourage you to do is do some study, figure out what river, figure out what sea, figure out who the Palestinians are, what their lineage is, because you tried to explain it earlier and you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. I would just ask you to do a lot of research and then come back to the room with what resembles facts and then have a good faith conversation with Norm.
Thank you for giving me a chance to reply. So everything I said was correct. I was talking about the genetic lineage of, I was asked like, what is a Palestinian? And I said, well, they're a descendant of the...
Wait, hold on, Truth. I was just going to ask Roger, do you remember what he answered when you, because I remember, I almost remember word for word what his answer was. Do you remember what he...
Yeah, he went off on this weird tangent about Canaanites.
No, he didn't. Okay, wrong.
No, actually,
okay.
Bima, why would you... Okay, listen, Bima, you're not going to interrupt this self-identified retard. This is ableism, Bima, so I had to move you down to the audience so that you don't commit acts of ableism. But no, Truth, I'm going to give you the self-identified retard. I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, when I spoke about the Levant, and I even said then, I was like, I'm not some expert from off the top of it. Like, it's mostly like what Sephardi Jews identify Ashkenazi and Sephardi. That's like Spain. So anyway, no, that's been proven. I can get.
No, it hasn't been. The opposite has been proven.
There's more that I have to reply.
The opposite has been.
There's more that I have to reply to. because I was treated, and in fact, I kind of have a bone to pick with you, because I asked you to come in and verify what I was saying, because I wasn't wrong. And because it
Yeah, you were
was
wrong.
your
You've been wrong about almost every single thing you said.
No. You gotta let me finish.
Everything.
You have the Balfour Declaration,
Everything.
right? In 1917. You have
Wait, are we turning over?
This is
What is it that you said you were right about?
Stop. You gotta let me finish. I promised a chance to finish.
True. So what is it that you think you were right about?
Because you got mentioned, you don't need to jump in real fast.
True. What did you say that you claiming you were right about?
Please. What you're about to
No, I'm trying to understand.
It's hard for me to think. I can't hear you. Please, bro.
Okay, so just listen to me.
I'm asking you to
say
let
that you were
talk, please.
no, you weren't right about it, right?
No, I'm asking you to stop interrupting me. I can't hear you and think.
So don't make false statements and you want to
Cool, okay, whatever, you're right, whatever, please.
Okay.
So, like I was saying, right? The thing I mentioned was the Balfour Declaration in 1917, and I think this
What
is
would you like
actually
to say about that?
history, because I think it's
What about it? Everybody knows about it. What is your point?
because I think actually the way they were treated is horrible. I think anyone with common decency and reads the history.
What do you think about the Balfour
Because there's a lot of point. Please stop interrupting me. There's
Just get to the point. You're just suffering.
Rise in the world. There's a ton of anti-Semitism on the rise in the. Oh my fucking God, Nora.
Yeah. So what point do you want to make about
Let me
Balfour?
talk, bro. Mojo literally promised I'd get to reply to him, and you have not shut up yet.
Well, you're not rebutting him. You're just wasting everybody's
I'm not
time.
talking to you, Nora.
You're not rebutting him.
I'm
You're not rebutting him.
Just let him reply so we can demolish him after he replies. Go ahead.
He doesn't ever say anything.
Bro, this isn't the Norm show.
Yeah, it is actually.
I know that's how you think.
You're wrong about that.
I know you're a narcissist, but
What do you want to say about? No, you're the narcissist. I mean,
okay,
what
so
do you
we
want
go
to say
on mute for 5 seconds.
What do you want to say about Balfour?
Thank you. And no, I think this is important because I think this is where people can at least agree and meet in the middle, right?
So far, nothing you said is important.
Cool, love you. Anyway, so there was a fuck ton of anti-Semitism. Jews were no longer feeling safe in various countries that they had the largest concentration, sadly. And so they begin to talk about it. And this is where you get Zionism, and it wasn't even always originally going to be that area. But the
Zionism has existed for thousands of years. That's not where you get Zionism.
Yeah, I know. Zionism is the idea of a Zion, but I'm talking about like the secular Zionism, even like the treating it.
It wasn't secular. It wasn't secular. You're just wrong about everything.
What I mean is, hold on. What I mean is, you know what I'm talking about. They literally treat
Nobody does.
Exactly. I'm blanking on his name now. He literally said we need a secular variant of Zionism. He specifically said it, and he was correct. No, hold on, please stop. Let me just say what I'm saying, because it was important that happens, and that's how you start getting it. You have the first Aliyah, the second Aliyah, and then sadly, of course, the third, which is like, and then that after that's the Holocaust, and then you get the millions come. And so I'm super sympathetic to the Jews going to that area, immigrating to that area. I don't look at them as like these badass people. That's not the thing. I'm not an anti-Semite. That's why I hate that I kept getting called the anti-Semite.
Well,
What I'm saying is,
you say a lot of anti-Semitic nonsense.
No,
based on ignorance.
So when they
hold on. I want to intervene real quick. Two things. Norm, you're going to have to let the self-identified retard finish his points. We're going to have to be even more just patient because he's self-identified. I do not want him to come out of this room that we're being ableist. So I definitely need you, Norm, to allow the guy to speak. But the other thing I wanted to say about this is that you can use anti-Semitic tropes and not be an anti-Semite. The real test of that is when an educated Jew or even an educated person on the topic corrects you. If you continue to use the anti-Semitic tropes after it's brought to your attention that it's anti-Semitic, then you might be an anti-Semite. And so I will forgive people that use anti-Semitic tropes because many people don't know that they're anti-Semitic tropes. But once you're confronted with the truth, if you reject it and continue to use the tropes, then you get the smoke.
If I even touch that, that's a whole new can of worms. So I'm just, oh my God. I just reject the idea I ever said an anti-Semitic trope. But
Pretty much everything you said was.
No, Norm, you're gonna let him speak.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
He's gonna get 3 minutes uninterrupted, followed by 3 minutes of Norm uninterrupted.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I'll try to make it as fast as possible. So yeah, you have the British Mandate, the Balfour Declaration, the Zionists successfully getting Britain to express support to create a national home, the negotiation with the Ottomans, the Leah series, which is like, I think there was 5 of them. The third one was the nasty one after World War I. No, there was another one after that from Poland that was pretty bad because like the anti-Semitism was getting on the rise. And then the biggest Aliyah was the one just before the Holocaust. And then the Holocaust when like 1 million came. And so the region that they were immigrating to just started ballooning in concentration, which is, from a sympathetic stance, good. Because now Jews are given an opportunity to have their own land where they're more safe from the anti-Semitism, which was real, as proven by the Holocaust. But for the locals in the area, all they saw was colonizers using their wealth and adjacency to colonial powers to like kind of imperially land grab, right? And to be fair, this is where I think nuance is always important. It's probably a bit of both. It's really naive to assume that all these, as millions of Jews are moving there, none of them are looking at this as a huge financial opportunity and possibly causing, let's say, discomfort to their neighbors. Now, that being said, nothing that they were doing, in my opinion, justifies the level of crazy racism they experienced. Like that whole behind every rock, behind every book. Like, no, it's a religious kind of hatred that's going on. So I'm not trying to downplay that. I had my own experience with racism as a Black person, so I can't imagine what that is. I have Jewish people in my family. I've always been very sympathetic to that. I'm not trying to downplay that at all. But I think what happened is, at some point, the Jews became, they were the winner. The 6-Day War is crazy, and that's another thing. I'm probably running out of time, so let me make sure I hurry this up. The 6-Day War is another example of like they did not have that coming. That's insane. They almost got genocided, and in a miraculous, as Norm was talking about, in a miraculous turn of events, they dominated. They secured new territory from people attacking them, which is just badass. I just think that's such a badass thing. And historically, if you go to war, you conquer territory, you don't have to give it up. They gave up some of it. They didn't have to. They kept less than they gave back in an attempt to get peace. It didn't work. Like 20 to 15 years later, the same states tried again. The Yom Kippur, and it just shows that there was really a high level of hostility to them, and nothing they were doing was like successful in creating fair treatment. But again, now from the other side, from the flip side, the Arabs were mad from the beginning from the UN partition plan. Right now, to be fair, there was violence against Jews before the partition plan, but it escalated dramatically after the partition plan because it gave all the port access and the fertile farmland and the historical like relevant territory to the Jewish state. And it gave the Arab state just like the mountains and the dry desert and the shit that no one really wanted. And this is demonstrable. Like there's like Tel Aviv is beautiful, for example, with port access. But anyway, so the point, but realistically, that doesn't justify crazy level of hatred and evil. And so even that is not to say, oh, this means they can genocide you. No, it's sick, but these are the things that got the world to be sympathetic with the Palestinians. That's why liberals are associated with feeling sympathetic to them. Because at some point, Israel became so successful that they were punished for their success, which is not fair to them. But that's not what we see today. What we see is people in hunger. So that's why it's like, when we talk about the history of Israel, I'm not even against any of the... Anytime you disagree with me, it has to have been discussing like modern... because obviously Hamas is a terrorist state. I don't even rather see them. But at the same time, the Palestinians alive today have nothing to do with Hamas. Like, realistically, they don't.
Actually, 70% of them support Hamas or more. I think that's your 3 minutes. You're just wrong about everything you said.
I'm wrong about everything you said. Okay.
Everything you said. I'll just take a few most recent things. Tel Aviv was a malarial is desert. I know you don't know this. We didn't get the advantageous land. It was desert. We made the desert bloom. Like it says in the Torah. We made the desert bloom. I was just there. It is desert, and we're growing stuff there because we created innovative agricultural techniques. Check. The Arabs got 22 nations and all of the oil. Almost all the land. Maybe 1,000 times what the Jews got. Almost all the land and all of the oil. Check, check, check. The Balfour Declaration was not the deciding factor in the Jews returning home. The end of empire was the deciding factor in the Jews returning home. Almost every nation in the United Nations of the 200 were formed in their current form in the 20th century, just like Israel, Pakistan, and Greece, and the South American countries, and Germany the way it looks today. All of these nations were formed in the 20th century, just like Israel. Israel is the only one that people have the chutzpah to say shouldn't exist, or that people have the chutzpah to say what their borders should be. So almost everything you said was wrong. The League of Nations was formed after World War I because that was considered the worst war of all time. It was formed to end those wars. How did they intend to do it? For the British weren't there as colonists. The British were there to end the empires and manage the land, turning it over to the indigenous people. Who were those indigenous people? Well, there were Jews and there were Arabs. They weren't called Palestinians then. It was a land, British called it the British Mandate of Palestine and Eretz Yisrael. People always leave the second part out. It wasn't called Palestine by the Turks. It was various Sanjaks. There were in Syria and Transjordan. No such thing as a Palestinian in those days. Certainly there was no movement for the Palestinians to have a country. But the British said, okay, you're indigenous, you guys don't get along with each other, you have this land over here, you have that land over there. And then they got down to their real business of making sure that they had good deals with all the sheikhs who owned the lands with the oil, because that's what they were really after. And pretty soon, because the Arabs got pissed off, they blocked the emigration of refugees from the Holocaust to the land of Israel. They blocked it because they wanted to please their Arab oil partners. And so they became almost enemies. And finally, we finished the business of kicking them out of Israel. And by the way, we remain allies with them. They're good allies. They were also allied with the Arabs, by the way. They're the ones who trained the Jordanians to attack us from the east. So your view of Israeli history has been infected by anti-Semitic tropes and anti-Israel, and trying to sweeten it with a sprinkle of sugar with, I know the Holocaust was awful. Yes, I know. People love dead Jews. That's right. Once we have our own country with an army and begin to defend ourselves and defend our borders, and once we begin to go and get our hostages from these barbarians, people don't like us anymore. That's okay. We don't need to be liked. We'd rather be alive and disliked or resented than dead and pitied. That's what Golda Meir said.
I don't disagree with everything you're saying, but I think some of it's being exaggerated. For example, the agricultural presence was actually already existing.
Where?
Okay, so you're getting the coastal plains, the Jordan Valley. Really?
We didn't get it. Jordan took it. Keep going.
You didn't get the Jordan Valley in the partition plan?
Jordan took it.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you took it in.
I know you didn't know that. I I'm very aware that you didn't know that.
Well, no, hold on. Okay, I'm allowed to get educated. Yeah. Anyway, so you took in the 6-Day War.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty badass. No, okay, that's pretty.
Yep. They got the east side of the river. We got the west side of the river. Hence, the Jordanians, not Palestinians, call it the West Bank. The Palestinians call it the Dafa, the territories, and Israel calls it, and now the United States call it Judea and Samaria. So update your address books. It's Judea and Samaria. No more West Bank. The king of Jordan is not from the region. He's from Saudi Arabia. He's a Hashemite. He's a cousin of the House of Saud. Again, I don't resent him at all, but he's certainly not indigenous to Jordan.
Okay, so you know what? I'm probably okay. So I'm willing to concede on a lot of things that have to do with the history and the veracity of the territory and the Jewish expansion, because the truth is there was so much hatred towards them in the region. It just and when you said I was educated and infected with anti-Semitism, there probably is some truth to that. Not because I really think I'm an anti-Semite, or I think the sources in which I was educated were anti-Semitic, but the world is largely anti-Semitic. So it's kind of like a fish in water. And that's kind of how everything is when it comes to society and culture. That's not unique to Jews. And as a black person, I'm very sympathetic to that. So I can actually kind of conceptualize that. But that in line with that same pattern of thinking, I also kind of see the flip side where I think you're very defensive. Where you like, okay, so for example, you said that region wasn't called Palestine, or literally it was.
I didn't say that. I said the Ottoman Turks didn't call it that. They held the region for 400 years, or maybe 500. By the way, are you really Ethiopian?
Yeah, my grandmother's side. My father's mother.
You know, you treated the Jews of Ethiopia very, very badly. You had to recognize no offense to you,
there's a lot of contention there, so we can have that conversation.
That's no contention whatsoever. They were persecuted. That's why we had to rescue them. They were treated horribly.
You're saying Ethiopian Jews were persecuted by the Ethiopian government?
No, by the Ethiopian people of Ethiopia and the Sudanese.
People I can't speak about Sudanese, I'm not still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ethnically, you should. You speak nobody speaks Amharic in your family.
My grandma's passed like 3 years ago, so.
Well, she should rest.
Thank you. Rome referred to the area as Palestine?
Rome, that's a European. Romans are European, so they slapped that name on it as a way of trying to dominate the Jews that they were fighting.
That's the colonial. That's the.
I do believe they weren't they going for the Philistines?
Yeah, Philistines.
That's like that's just to be the Palestinians can't say the word Palestine. They don't have to be
Yeah, it's crazy. They're called the Philistines.
Yeah, Philistines.
It's a European term. It's a colonial term.
Well, so I only say that to say, like, that region has been referred to with that.
Not by the Ottomans. Not modern. I don't know how much. I mean, you can go back 2,000 years, but it wasn't called that by the Ottomans. They had sanjaks, which were little areas of government, like Syria, Transjordan. I'm telling you, there was almost nothing there. Mark Twain wrote about it. There were a few guys. There were Bedouins. They didn't have. It wasn't like they had civilization or anything.
Okay. Yeah, and I kind of meet you in the middle on the because I remembered you made the point that they weren't really fighting for a national identity at the time. The people in the region.
Ever.
They weren't fighting for one, but they had.
So they didn't have a national identity. There was no king, there was no queen, there was no president, there was no government. There was no national identity.
They tried.
Hold on,
they did not try.
They tried.
They did not try.
Hold on. Well, specifically, did they not try? What was the Arab Congress? when they were rejecting the Balfour Declaration.
No, but there wasn't even a so-called Palestinian representative at that Arab Congress.
Well, no, his point
At
is
the Arab what? Oh my God.
There were not even.
How can you say there was no?
There was not even a Palestinian representative at the Arab.
El Normo, Herzl himself refers to the area as Palestine.
You just changed the subject because I just refused it.
No. Because you're saying something where now I have to fact check it because I'm not going to be dishonest. So I'm going to go and make sure that there. What was it you said? You said there were no Arab. No,
I said there was no Palestinian representative at the Arab Congress. There was no interest in a Palestinian state at that time.
There was no Palestine. Okay, all right. Let's see.
I mean, the Arabs, they look like a caliphate.
Let's see if I'm wrong.
I don't think the Arabs like being called Palestinian at the time. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, if I'm getting my history right. So
There were no Palestinians at the time. They weren't called that. They were called Arabs. That time, by the way, they allied with Adolf Hitler. The Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Haj al-Husseini, formed an alliance with Adolf Hitler because he didn't like coming to the Arab part of the world, coming back to our homeland, and he formed the commandos in Egypt, and that sort of remnant of Nazism exists in Egypt to this day. They formed like this corps. He was on the payroll of Hitler for 2 years. Haj al-Husseini. He was in Europe working in propaganda. The kind of propaganda that you guys have swallowed and that you now repeat, it was early on engineered by Goebbels in Nazi Germany and adopted by Haj al-Husseini, who worked for him for years. And then came to Egypt and formed this. But then Germany was defeated, and those commandos in Egypt were. I think they were called Eisenstadt Corps. I have to go look up. I don't really know German. And they published. They spread the book Mein Kampf, the anti-Semitic text Mein Kampf in Egypt, which still sells very well today. There. There was no we want to have a Palestinian state. Remember, they were offered a Palestinian state and they rejected it. It was tiny, the same way Israel was tiny. Teeny tiny. They didn't want it. And what they wanted was, what did I call it? Arab state. Yeah, Arab state. Hi, Yoel. There's nobody who knows. Hi. I don't know.
You know more than me. I gotta take my head if I really I do.
I don't.
can I get a word in edgewise here?
I appreciate the conversation thing. I've learned a lot. Don't agree on everything, but I do feel as though I've shifted a lot. Go ahead.
I like that.
I would provide assess my understanding. My understanding of the history of Israel and my depth of understanding of the current conflict at about 3. But what I heard, I came in fairly late, but I did hear Truth's 3-minute dissertation. I would say that arguing with Norm about the history of the state of Israel would be like me arguing with Kissinger about the history of the United States. Now, I'm not saying Norm is at the level of Kissinger, but in terms of his.
Hello.
Hi, this is Candace with the Department of Employment Security. Is this John?
Yes.
Hi, I was just giving you a call about an unemployment claim that you've reopened. Do you have just a moment?
Yep.
Okay. Before I discuss the claim, can I have you verify your date of birth?
11/6/82.
All right, thank you. So the reason I'm calling is opened up a claim back in March, and there wasn't any new information on the claim. So I was just calling to confirm that your last day of work was May 22nd of 24, and that you've not had any new employment since then.
No, actually, it's based on the letter I received from.
When was the last day you were physically there to work?
Well, a lot of it is remote, so I have an ongoing employee EEO complaint, which is tied to the unemployment claim. So to my technical last day.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying my technical last day with the agency, you know, where I received an actual termination letter was May 30th, 2025. And the last physical time that I was on site was last year in May of last year, but I've been, you know, technically working remote.
Okay. So if you've been working remote, when was the last day you actually worked?
I think it was May 30th of 2024.
Okay. Right. So whenever you had filed the claim back in March, there would have been an interview scheduled in regards to your separation from them. And it looks like you were denied benefits based on that separation. So in order to qualify for unemployment benefits,
it's a new basis of separation. That's what I'm claiming. So I'm technically filing a new and separate claim.
So it's still the same.
It's not because I have.
Last day of work.
Well, it's technically not because I mean I'd have to send you the letter they sent me if you really want to see it.
Okay. I mean, what I would maybe do is just go ahead and send in the appeal to that particular issue that was addressed back in April. Just state that you're appealing that decision and send in that letter, and then we would have to schedule it to be looked at to see if we need an administrative law judge to get a telephone hearing scheduled.
Okay, so where do I mail the appeal to? Can I do it online?
You can actually do it online. There is an appeal form. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't, you can just handwrite it or type it out. You just want to state that you disagree with that particular issue number, and I can give you the issue number.
Okay, what is that?
Okay, it's 006.
Well, hold on one second.
6. Okay.
Okay, 006.
602.
Okay.
And the letter A, and that's specific to your separation from them.
Okay.
And then there was a denial of benefits on a different issue as well. This issue number is 007 500 and the letter C, it's in cat. And that decision was based on whether you're able and available for work. So you would want to go ahead and appeal that too, because those are both holding up benefits on the claim.
Okay. All right.
And then again, just send that in, and what I'll do, since it's technically a reopened claim, I'll backdate this by a couple weeks so that you can certify this week. So it'll be just a second here while I do that.
And when I file this appeal, I can just log into the portal and submit the appeal in there.
You can. You're just going to go to the option that has you upload a document, and you can upload it right there.
Okay.
And then as far as this claim, that the file that you just reopened, you would have technically certified yesterday since I backdated it. But what you do is you'll just certify Thursday, because Thursdays and Fridays are makeup days.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's what I needed. Did you have any questions for me while you had me on the phone?
No, that's it. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
From the BBC where the IDF admitted they mistakenly shot 6 children waiting for water. They died from airstrike while waiting in line for water. That was on the 13th.
BBC. Great source.
So what are sources I should be respecting?
Go to Twitter. There is a handle that's called Gazawood or Bollywood.
For you and a student,
It don't matter. I like discounts. Don't be mad because I save money. What the hell? Don't go check.
you mean you engage in illegal activity to save $5?
It's not illegal.
This is just a based on religious hatred towards Jews. We can see that all around the world. Let's look at it. I believe you have to see. Just look at what is happening to Christians in Mozambique. What is happening to Christians in Nigeria? What is happening to Christians in Pakistan? They are being eliminated.
Yeah, I saw that Nigeria. Yeah, I saw that.
So the same thing is happening with the Jews. If you read the scriptures of Islam, you'll find that there is a lot of anti-Semitism against the Jewish people. The problem is within this 2025, Islam is able to gaslight a lot of people into believing Jews are the problem. See, there are about more than 50 Islamic countries. Why can't they take them in? Now they are claiming that Gaza is being surrounded by, isolated from all other places by Israel. But if you look closely, there is a southern boundary wall, isn't it, with Egypt? That's a 12-kilometer wall, which is fully blocked by Egypt. I don't know, have you heard of the Black September incident? Have you heard of the Black September incident?
It sounds super familiar, but I'm blanking. I don't know why.
Exactly. Palestinians went into Jordan, the PLO chairman and all. They started abducting the Jordanian civilians. They bought a plane, they blew up the plane in front of the camera. And the Jordanian king, they wanted to kill the Jordanian king and install a caliphate. Okay, so it is on religions. The Jordanian king fed up with the Palestinians, brought in who are now trying for Gaza. 25,000, at least 25,000 Palestinians were slaughtered in few days. So the Jordanians themselves cannot stand Palestinians.
Yeah, I remember this.
Now what happened in Kuwait?
I remember this.
What happened in Kuwait?
Do
you know what happened in Kuwait?
Oh, I don't know. I saw this. I actually knew, but I forgot. You just reminded me. Thank you. I don't know about Kuwait though. I know about like the Gulf War, but I don't know about what I think you're about to say.
Okay. So I'll tell you what happened in Kuwait is when Saddam invaded Kuwait, the Palestinians who sought refuge there, who were given refuge there, actually sided with the Saddam. I've heard reports of Palestinians looting the Kuwaits and raping some of their women. I don't know if it is true. I have to confirm that. But the problem is they sided with Saddam. Okay. So when the war was finally over, the Kuwaitis secretly kicked them out. No problem at all. Nobody's crying. Why? Because this was done by a Muslim against a Muslim. Because the Palestinians were going against the interest of the nation. This is not only the case of Jordan or Kuwait. There are other nations which have kicked them out. They don't like them. So these brats,
Egypt,
none of the Arabs want them. Sorry? Egypt.
Egypt kicked them out too. Egypt doesn't want them.
Yeah.
Israel did not want Gaza, but Egypt didn't want Gaza, so we got stuck with it.
Egypt. So what I'm asking Truth is, see, none of their Arab brothers who are crying for them want them in their house. But they want these people to, they want Israel to take them, or they want to wipe out the nation. So this is nothing about land. I am from India. We are also, you have never faced the
Islamic problem. That is why you are finding that all the stories that these people are saying are far-fetched. Only when you live under an Islamic, when you have significant Muslims in your area, only then you will find that all these stories are nothing compared to what these people are saying. It is coming to. I think you're in United States, isn't it? It is coming to. I'm seeing a lot of imams calling for caliphate there. And believe me, if Trump goes out and some idiot comes in, and if the next president is going to be somebody who is very lenient, believe me, you will have it. And this is not a free speech problem. The Westerners, they treat this Islamic problem as a free speech problem. They discuss a lot. It's not a free speech problem, and this is a problem of survival. If Islam takes over your nation, you will not survive. You know the kind of humiliation that you will be subject to. I don't know whether you understand that or not. Just look at what's happening in Egypt also. So none of these Islamic nations allow freedom of religion and worship and all, but they want that in your nation. And I'm proud to say that I belong to a nation where Jews were now persecuted. They lived here for 2,000 years. They prospered. Many of them, they were pioneers in many areas. And when finally Israel happened, they left this place and went to Israel. If they were actually occupiers, they would have occupied a large portion of our nation, isn't it? They didn't occupy anything. They contributed to our society. And even though the Christians and the Muslims call from brother amongst each other, and they say they are from the same Abrahamic religion. This land belongs to pagans. Yeah.
The Christians and Muslims definitely never did that. No.
Okay, I'll take it. I can show you that, but for now, I'll leave it. But you would
allying with Saddam was insane. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck, I'm not an anti-Semite, but I totally get why people vested in this, and from the defensive, sympathetic perspective of Israel, people just come off as anti-Semitic because the context is so relevant. And so often the framing is used like these poor Palestinians are being brutalized by Israel, and they have been for this long. And even I still think there is truth to that, because I think in conflicts like these, the true victims are just like regular people. But at the same time, within those conflicts, I do know that, like, for example, the terrorism against the Jewish immigrants there has been there since like the 1920s. Like, everyone thinks it starts in 48, but like goes all the way back to like 1920s. And so, and it got expedited after the partition plan, the 6-Day War. But then you even remind me though that the PLO got kicked out of Jordan. I knew about them getting kicked out of Jordan, but it wasn't big on my registry. But them aligning with Saddam was always crazy to me. And it's weird that I just forgot that, because that's fucking relevant. So no, I actually really appreciate you. I get where people are coming from. I think, but again, all that being said, still to this day, and Norm, hopefully you're done eating now. I'm not seeing that this has been debunked, that kids are being shot in line waiting for food in Gaza. And I think maybe it's gotten to the point where there's a fever pitch of hatred. Maybe that, and that would be an honest thing, but denying it's not gonna help.
Well, you made it sound like it was deliberate, and then you showed a case where then you claimed that there was some kind of an accident. So it's like you're deliberately reading something.
That's what the idea is.
Was that not a defense? That's BBC reporting the facts. So yeah, there are riots there, and I believe the riots are being instigated by Hamas. Hamas is dependent on UNRWA, which is completely infiltrated UNRWA, the United Nations Relief Works Agency, which is created entirely for one reason, to perpetuate this idea of Palestinian refugees. And by the way, I worked for the UN High Commissioner on Refugees, Antonio Gutierrez, who is now the Secretary General of the United Nations. So all refugees on the planet are handled by the High Commissioner on Refugees, except for Palestinians because they have an entirely different definition of refugee. That is to say that refugee status is inherited from generation to generation. That's true with no other refugees. They're not really refugees. So, Hamas and UNRWA are working hand in fist against Israel, which is obviously a violation of the UN Charter, and they have disrupted the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which was created by America and Israel to keep the food, to keep the humanitarian aid, which, by the way, Israel's paying for, out of the hands of Hamas. Because that's what Hamas uses, A, to make money by selling it to the Palestinian people, and B, to feed and pay their terrorists. So that's what's going on there.
Norm, is it true what A said, that the Christians and the Muslims were saying that they're one because they're from the same Abrahamic religion?
I don't know. I don't know that one. I didn't hear it.
What do you think about Trump coming out yesterday and admitting that the bad movers in Israel are starving Gaza, and that
He didn't say that.
Yeah,
I don't know what's. No, he didn't. He said, I don't know what's on here, but those kids look hungry. That's what he said.
He said that no, he didn't say they look hungry. He said that they were starving, and it was clearly.
He said they look hungry from the picture.
He said starving. Perfect. It's not a quote. It's a piece. It's a piece. No, it's not a quote. It's a video that you could hear him speaking directly. He uses the word starvation.
What a quote.
Hold on, wait. But I'm not saying pull up the quote. I'm saying pull up the actual audio of him speaking.
Yeah, well, let's listen to it.
Right, and he uses starvation. He admits that they're starving. That's why he's like, we're gonna get them.
Let's go. No, listen, I'm not.
Okay, all right, I'll get it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Israel delivered 2 million tons of aid, and by the way, nobody in a war is obligated to feed their enemy, and the exceptions to the flow of humanitarian aid are the following. Number one, if the enemy can use it for an advantage, which Hamas was doing, and B, if the enemy can steal it, which Hamas was doing, which is why it was legitimate to not allow the aid to flow to Hamas and to come up with an alternate system. First, we tried that floating bridge, which kind of failed. That was America. If you remember, we spent a fortune on that, by the way. We also tried airdropping the aid in. In fact, right now, again, we're airdropping aid in by parachute. There's no attempt to starve people. The attempt is to keep Hamas from stealing the food. And we're allowed to deprive Hamas of food.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go out because I can't listen to the video. I'll come back. But also, clearly it's not. You cannot do it because that's why Trump is saying you can't starve people indiscriminately. It violates.
Starving. I said we don't have to feed our enemy.
Right. Exactly. Okay, and there are 4 specific rules of the Geneva Convention that talk about how you're right, and so they're violating that. Right, and they're violating all. Okay, and that's okay. Well, you can. Right, so Trump is getting involved.
Israel has provided 2 million. He doesn't like when things don't look good.
I'll be right back.
That's 1 ton of aid for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. How much do you eat?
Okay, Truth, have you heard of what happened in Hebron in 1517? 1517.
You said 1517? No.
Yeah, just Google what happened in 1517 Hebron. So this is not a recent phenomenon as people want you to believe. People will make you believe that before 1948 everything was hunky-dory and everybody was like, everybody was happy and lived next to each other. But pogroms against Jews, minorities, Yazidis, Christians were very rampant in the Arabian Peninsula, and Jews were at the receiving end of most of it all. So this didn't start recently, and definitely not with the Jews.
I'm looking at it right now. Sorry, I lagged out back in.
Okay.
The final thing was something else. I'll look more.
See, you don't understand a conflict situation, that too, especially with the Islamic people on the other side. We have got a conflict going on in the northern side of our country, which is called Kashmir. It's a majority population there, majority Muslim population in 4 districts, 4 or 5 districts. You know, when the soldiers go in there, the children will throw stones at the soldiers. Okay, spit on them. Okay, try to harm them, incite them. So when the soldiers retaliate, if they retaliate, it is caught on camera. It is broadcasted and hyped up and broadcasted all around the world. So your leaders, the Western leaders, high on human rights, will condemn it, but they will never condemn the parents who are sending these children to, throw stones at soldiers.
Listen,
You can see the same thing in Gaza.
respectfully, we don't need anybody coming in here shitting on our nation. We know our own problems here, and we don't need anybody from anywhere else trying to tell us about our government. We're the only ones that can criticize our government.
Thing is, the government.
I don't give a shit.
Interfering in all. That's a problem.
Give a shit.
So I have to. You can say that. If it is your internal matter, that's not a problem. But if they are interfering in our matters, then we have a right to talk, isn't it? So this is the problem. Now your own governments, especially the European governments, are doing the same thing with their own citizens. What they are doing, they are importing this third world. People who are very violent, who will never integrate. The people are crying. See, what happens in other parts of the world, it will eventually affect you. If your leaders are going to support the human rights and freedom of the terrorists, eventually in your own country, they will support them against you.
Okay, well, worry about it.
We always had a problem with it. So, what I was saying is, when you deal with Islamists, it's a totally different story. It's not like a normal person. They'll try to fix you in any way possible. And the media and the foreign governments, they all interfere in it. That's the truth.
Okay, I got it. Are you guys ready to hear the...
Make sure Norm's there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, here we go.
They tend to forget it, but they can't forget that was one of the most evil things I've ever seen. And you just cannot forget that. So we're very much involved. The Prime Minister's involved. I'm involved. We're going to set up food centers, and we're going to do it in conjunction with some very good people, and we're going to supply funds. And we just took in trillions of dollars. We got a lot of money, and we're going to spend a little money on some food. And other nations are joining us. I know your nation's joining us, and we have all of the European nations joining us, and others also called that I want to be helpful. So we're going to set up food centers and where people can walk in, and no boundaries. We're not going to have fences, and they can't. They see the food from 30 you would say yards away, and they see the food. It's all there, but nobody's had it because they have fences set up that nobody can even get it. It's crazy what's going on over there.
What if I told you learning AI would change your life? Let's be real. Most people live for no word starvation.
It's coming, Starvation coming. Hold on, I got it now.
Well, it's going to be working where the United States will be helping with the food. We have a lot of access to food. We got a lot of food ourselves. And we're going to bring it over there. We're also going to make sure that they don't have barriers stopping people. You see the areas where they actually have food. And the people are screaming for the food, and they're 35, 40 yards away. And they won't let them because they have lines that are set up. And whether they're set up by Hamas or whoever, but they're very strict lines, so we have to get rid of those lines. But we're going to be getting some good, strong food. We can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids are
That's real starvation stuff. I see it.
Oh, what's it? It's real starvation stuff. I see it.
Some of those kids, it's real starvation stuff. Okay.
Yeah, real starvation stuff in the way that you said. Right.
So
He's blaming Hamas for it.
even more involved. We did
He's
some.
blaming Hamas.
Yeah, come on, Alma, we're not.
They just blame him.
He has blamed Hamas. It's a political.
Wait a second. Go back to life. He said Hamas is doing it.
Hold on, Alma. You think that we're fools? We're not idiots.
I do think you're a
He's the
fool.
commander in chief. He has to tread lightly, right? He's not going to demonize.
He
He's
blamed
not going
Hamas.
to demonize Netanyahu, okay? So
He
he has to
blamed Hamas. Keep going.
blame Hamas.
He
He's
blamed
saying
Hamas
whoever
for the
is doing it.
starvation of the kids.
Stop pretending like you don't know this isn't fucking politics. This
He
is something.
blamed Hamas. That he was giving
It's a lie.
Yeah.
We have Israeli professors.
I agree with him.
Geospatial data set.
I agree with him. That
Fucking Israeli.
you're getting upset now.
From Israel.
You're getting upset.
Gaza humanitarian. Right out of fucking Israel.
I thank you for blaming Hamas. I agree with you.
Real journalists.
Thank you for blaming Hamas.
Wait, what are you doing, man? We're trying to clear up Trump. Okay, so it seems like Trump did say starvation. Now we don't know who he's saying is responsible for the starvation.
Yeah,
He didn't say some kids are. He said Hamas, he said or whoever. He did say Hamas or whoever. So I mean, you know.
Yeah. He's not saying Israel. He's saying Hamas or Palestinian Islamic God. Okay, what else? I want to hear more.
Then don't talk over it so we can all hear it. She doesn't need a narrator.
No, we all know we interrupted to talk about starvation. She stopped it and submitted to starvation.
All right, I'm playing. Here we go.
No, I want to hear some more. Go ahead.
I've conceded on a lot of
Said by Hamas or whoever, but they're
Or
starvers, so we have to get rid of those guys.
Wow.
We're gonna be getting some good strong food. We can
Good
save a lot of
I
people.
agree.
Some of those kids
As
are
long as it doesn't go to
real
Hamas.
starvation stuff. I see it. Restrict lines, so we have to get rid of those lines. But we're gonna be getting some good strong food. We can save a lot of people. Some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it. And you can't fake that. So we're gonna be even more involved. We did some airlifts before, some airdrops, and the people are running for it. And the Prime Minister is going to help us. They're very effective with that. You've done that before. For many, they've done that for 100 years.
It's really the United States beating it out.
It's not very
British Prime Ministers.
President Donald Trump telling reporters a humanitarian crisis in Gaza is, quote, one of the main reasons for his meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, the two are meeting in this moment.
Very good. You want to keep going more?
Great. I'm glad to blame Hamas for the starvation of these
Oh,
people.
no.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I thank you for that point.
Hamas or whoever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are the other efforts?
And maybe
Definitely
Gaza
blame Israel. He definitely did that. Now you blame that. The guy who's humanitarian foundation is Americans.
Right out of the fucking.
He blamed the guy, the humanitarian foundation.
He would have said that.
If he said that, we would be condemning ourselves. Okay, he has to push it off. It can't be.
Good job. Oh, we have to.
Well,
We have to say starvation too, right?
Come on. Doesn't matter. He admitted that they're starving.
Yeah, he said Hamas is starving.
Right. The more on the now they're seeing for the war. It doesn't matter. You have all of those humanitarian posts right now on.
I think we got to get rid of Hamas.
You have to, right. I mean, it's crazy.
We got to get rid of Hamas.
Agree that Hamas is the bigger reason of the starving. That's still the even if we said what Trump said, I think we can all agree that the primary reason why Hamas is starving right now is because of Hamas. Like
I can't. Yes and no. I'll say this in that there. Look, here's what I'll say.
Direct and indirect, by the way. By direct, by hoarding aid, and indirect by stopping aid being able to be pushed in there because people are scared that they're still direct and indirect.
Yeah, of course, because Hamas is often scapegoating Israel, but I think the IDF, and I think the IDF often scapegoats Hamas because it's come out now that the UN.
Where are you getting this from?
It's come out. Hold on, well, I can get the link in the chat, but it's come out that the UN. Okay, it's come out that
to be this dumb. Like seriously, it should be. We should all take IQ tests. I mean, I'm on IQ.
Possibly. Wait, hold on. Why are you guys talking at the same time? A first good pass at an IQ test would be who can have a conversation and who can't. If you guys can't even get through a conversation without talking over each other, I think you guys have failed the first fucking hoop of this IQ.
Normal. The rest of that clip, I thought it was interesting. So they played a little bit of Netanyahu's speech after he heard Trump say that, and he said, "There's no starvation in Gaza. There's no starvation policy. You know, that's a bold-faced lie." Basically,
I think Netanyahu knows a lot more about it than Trump, right?
And so,
Trump saw some pictures.
yeah,
Looked like there's real starvation stuff going there.
Yeah, you can ask them.
Bibi's actually involved in feeding
and I'm
these
sure
people.
they'll say they kill nobody. Anyway,
Bibi is the one who's risking the lives of Israelis.
So, you can talk about it here. So Netanyahu said that. He said they're bold-faced lies. Trump responded to that, and he said, no, the kids look pretty hungry. That's not something you could fake. Doesn't matter what you say. They're starving. We're gonna.
Bima, I have a question for you. Hold on, everyone. Hold on. Bima, I got a question for you. So, are you aware of the aid that's been stolen by Hamas that was intended to get to the people? Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah, I sure have.
So
I'm not educated on it.
So what do you think of Hamas stealing the aid?